Time now for Underreaction. That's what we do on Wednesdays before we bring in Gronk. This is where we shine as a show. Okay, this is where we get ahead of. This is what's going on. These are the trends that we're seeing. This is what maybe isn't getting, and then it's going to pop off this week, and you're going to sound smart because you watch the show and you know what the vibes are. I think we are vastly underreacting to what is the best quarterback, wide receiver connection, chemistry, vibe, whatever you want to say. They're the best, and it is Sam Darnold to Jaxon Smith-Njigba. They've got the best thing cooking between a quarterback and a wide receiver this season. Wild to think these are the first 6 games these two have ever played together. Chemistry off the charts. Jaxon averaging almost twice as many yards per game as he did a year ago. And sure, some of that's because he's the unquestioned go-to guy now. I love that he's playing on the outside way more than he did the past 2 years, which we heard McDonald talk about, that he's a great receiver no matter what. He's not just this slot guy, and he certainly isn't, but it goes way deeper than that. Take a look at this. JSN's leading the league in receiving. Sam's passer ratings bordering on perfect when throwing his way. That's amazing. They've connected on 75% of targets. That's ridiculous when you look at the 4th row here and how far downfield Sam is throwing to him on average. What really, though, puts things into perspective is the last category. JSN averaging 4.6 yards every time a pass play is called. Not when he's targeted, not per touch. That's just every time that Sam Darnold drops back. And that doesn't just lead the league. It is by far the best mark anyone has had since Next Gen started tracking the stat like a decade ago, okay? That's how he and Sam are putting up these kinds of numbers, despite the fact that Seattle is, and this is also kind of weird, and maybe you don't know this, Seattle is in fact the heaviest running team, run game central, run game headquarters in the league, which is amazing. So I cannot wait to see this Monday night situation. These two up against Derek Stingley, the rest of that Texan secondary, they're coming on. It doesn't get much better than that. Okay, the second thing that we're underreacting to, listen, I don't know how you underreact to 9 sacks in London, but even after 9 sacks in London, we're not talking enough about how good the Broncos pass rush really is. We thought we could put it into perspective for you. Hamilton whipped this up. The Broncos' 30 sacks are tied for the most any team's had through 6 weeks since they started tracking this back in 1963. Their average of 5 sacks per game, the highest rate we've seen from anyone over that span as well. And it's not just the sacks. Vance Joseph's squad is averaging 10.5 quarterback hits per game. That is the most of any team since they started keeping tabs on quarterback hits 25 years ago. And their third down defense, by the way, one of the best 10, the 10 best of the last 50 years as well. And the coolest part of this, and that was great stuff, Hamilton. The coolest part of this isn't just NFL sack leader Nick Bonito getting it done. These Broncos you're looking at have already had 12 different players record a sack through these first 6 weeks, including 3 DBs. So this is Vance Joseph and Sean Payton dialing it up. The pressure is coming. This was the plan, I think. It's coming from everywhere, and they're really just a nightmare. Quarterbacks hate them. Quarterbacks don't even want to talk about this, I bet. Nobody on offense is loving this. Like, they're making life miserable for quarterbacks, and what a test for Jaxon Dart this week. These punchy rookies going up against Vance Joseph, and this nightmare, this hellscape from all angles, not just Bonito. So their pass rush is, obviously we talk about what that means for championship teams. But I put it Pat Hamilton before we move on. Can they get Trey? Do they have a, I know they got the stones for it. Is there a world where Trey could make his way here? That makes sense. 0%.
They are a little tight when it comes to the cap. They're just only have $6 million worth of space right now, but there are always decimal points. We know Sean, in the past,
that's a Mickey Loomis game. That's a Mickey Loomis game. I don't know about Sean hiding the money under the mattress or whatever happens. I mean, George seems to have the stones for it. I don't know, making it work. But that is a Mickey and Sean thing. They don't need him though, right?
That's the thing. Yeah, I don't know that they necessarily do. Yeah.
So we're deading that storyline. That's not a thing. It's going to be Trey to the Colts then, right?
We'll get to that. Would be really fun.
By the way, we're going to get to this tomorrow, Bengals fans. You have a game against the Steelers. We'll dig into it. The season is still very much alive, but there is a certain point with a certain record that you do maybe start thinking about what this future looks like and what you could get back from him for one of these greedy ass AFC teams that might want to step all over each other and get trained, what they'd be willing to get back. So there's always room. You can't just say absolutely not. That is not thinking with your head. Okay, that is not thinking with your head. So that's the sort of perspective I was trying to put out there. And also, like, if you didn't want him to, if you know, if you didn't want him to go dance with somebody else, you should have given him a long-term deal. That's not wrong. If you didn't want, if you don't want to have this discussion, we're only having it because he's very attractive to teams on a one-year situation that want to win a Super Bowl. And he could sort of swing things in their favor in a big day, being as elite as he is. Okay, finally, thanks, Ham. We are underreacting to the fact. Okay, here's what I want to talk about right now. I was in London, as we all know, because I posted about it 90 million times. I was there for the flag football game, the second one that YouTube has done at the NFL. The first one was at Super Bowl. The second one, it was rappers. It was H, who's a London-based, like incredible, my bestie now, who won up against Gunna. Big Falcons fan, whatever. So Ryan Fitzpatrick was H's quarterback. I knew this going in. I was prepped for him. Like, oh, it'll be so fun to see Fitzy. My big takeaway from, I had a couple of them, but my big takeaway from this action on YouTube was that Ryan Fitzpatrick had the time of his life, and he's got to be in the Olympics as a flag quarterback. He just has to be. We are underreacting. I mean, this is happening LA 2028. It was unbelievable. It was a blowout win, first of all. But he comes out, everyone's wearing cleats. Everyone's like really taking it seriously. He's wearing Cole Haan sneakers, like the ones I bought my father that he's worn for like 9 years in a row, and he won't let me buy him a new pair. He's out there. Look at, he's so casual. This was the most casual quarterback masterclass I've ever seen. He lofts this one, goal line fade. This is, by the way, Ashlea Klam, an absolute star. Look at the celebrations. You're telling me we don't need to see this in the Olympics? He just unloaded beautiful throws. He was coaching up everyone. Klam had 2 scores in this one. Fitz drops back. I mean, a dot to AJ Green, as we see. And this is, look at this late to unbelievable. He gets one to H, which we love to see as well. He gets in on the act. He doesn't even know. He didn't even hold a football before this game. And then there's this Jay Cinco, also the star MVP of the game, caps things off. The walk-off mid-play is about as good as it gets. He just did not care. And I want to say it was so casual, and he's got so much left to give, and just the aura, the energy of it all. I could not get enough. I could not take my eye off of it. So here is my bid. My campaign is beginning. U.S. Olympic Committee, we need a Cole Haan sponsorship. This is the Cole Haan killer, as we're calling him. That's the legacy, the lore of Ryan Fitzpatrick in London. America needs it. And Hamilton, I will say, I sent you the highlight rip. Your thoughts?
I mean, it was a complete and total masterclass. And as you said, it was so casual. It was so nonchalant, and it's just time after time after time. I mean, he's the perfect flag quarterback. And just when you thought there couldn't be any more Ryan Fitzpatrick lore, we get this. And I need to see it in 2028. I'm with you.
And then the next morning, I'm sitting with H and Gunna, and I'm like, oh, here's American football. Here are the Broncos and the Jets. And I'm like, Ryan Fitzpatrick outclassed, outshined every person on the field. Like if Ryan Fitzpatrick could go out there and add a little spark, add a little whatever, he just doesn't care. It was so fun. He was cool. He didn't want anything to do with the celebrations. I had to like drag him into the interview after with H, which I loved. But his arm, I was literally hearing the football, like pretty intimate situation, hearing it whiz through the air. And I will say, you think you've seen the last of Ashlea Klam. Here's my Ashlea, we got to get you on my show, because this is going to be a star. Of course, nobody's made the Olympic team yet, but an Olympic hopeful. They've got worlds coming up. She was taking me through the next day at the game, the celebration vibe that she was like, she went to Ryan and said, like, I want to make a celebration. Let's pull something out of your hat. There's a whole like pulling magic out of the hat thing that she was telling me about between my Guinnesses. So like they had a blast. I'd love to see the two of them both involved in flag in the future. But Ryan Fitzpatrick, like these teams shop this. We're talking about the icy hot bowl here tomorrow between the Bengals and the Steelers. There's not a team that can lure him out, maybe like in between Thursday Night Football, between his podcast with Andrew Whitworth. I'm just saying, I'm not done with Ryan Fitzpatrick on a football field. I'll leave that there.